If people can. And we're here. Look at us. Hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Getting everybody in here. We have a whole 0 people in TikTok. It's amazing.
I don't see you yet.
I wonder. Oh, here we go.
I can scroll to my right. I see 1 medium, 1 medium, 2 medium, 3 medium.
I think most people are also getting used to the fact that I don't always do both.
There's a ton of people on live right now in my vortex.
Or let me see if I can find you. Good morning, everybody. All 2 of you. Hello, hello. Oh, we got people in the.
Yay! Hi.
Got people coming in. Good morning. All right, we've got Meredyth Willits here. We're going to let everybody kind of settle in and get going.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if I can find you on as we go through TikTok.
I bet if you just
what if I just like look for you in your thing and I can
just
find
go to
there we go.
Your inbox. There we go.
So I don't know. Okay, accept. There we go. That's easier. And
let's see how this works.
Look at us.
Look at us go. Can you join with your camera?
I'm trying. Let's see here. How do I do this? There. Yep. Yay. Can you see me?
No.
You can't? Oh, wait. I didn't hit save.
Yay. It's like I see you in 2 different screens.
I know, right?
Good morning. Hello, everybody.
We are live.
We're live. And like you said, who gave 2 old ladies a phone and a computer?
Who gave 2 old ladies a phone? There should be rules against this. What were they thinking?
I don't know. But here we are, taking over the world like the amazing Gen X women we are.
Thelma and Louise right here, baby.
That's
Thelma
right.
And Louise.
And it turns out, friends, that we don't live that far from each other.
I know.
So because I was joking, I'm like, for some reason I thought you were on the West Coast. I don't know why. And I was like, I was telling people last week on the live, it's probably a good thing that we don't live close. There might be shenanigans.
Total shenanigans. I'm here for shenanigans.
So good morning, everybody over here. And we got YouTube land and we got the Facebook land and Instagram land. We got every place. We are everywhere, Meredyth.
We're everywhere. Isn't that a movie? Everywhere, everything, everywhere, all at once.
Oh, yeah, it is. I have not seen it, though. Several people have told me I should watch that.
Oh, you have to watch it.
I think it's in our wheelhouse, isn't it? Like with what we do.
Yes. Who told me to watch? What the heck's her name? Jasmine's Garden told me to watch that. Do you know that that one gal? She's got like 3 million followers. She's a medium and black gal. She wears the butterflies in her hair, really pretty. And
I don't know her.
Oh my gosh, she's like 26 years old. She has the wisdom of like a 80-year-old. Not to look like an 80-year-old. She has the wisdom of an 80-year-old.
That's even better. That's what I want. I want to look like a 26-year-old and have the wisdom.
Right.
Of the 80-year-old.
Good morning, Dream Queen.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Come on in. Make yourselves at home. All right. What are y'all sipping on? Because the spirit side and sip. So what are we all sipping on? I got because I don't do coffee.
So I used to do a ton of coffee, and then I don't know if it was menopause or what. I cannot do regular coffee, so I have to do decaf. And so I have my vital proteins here, my collagen, and then I have decaf and what is it, Chobani creamer in my pink Yeti.
I love it. I feel like we should have Pinky out on that.
I'm here for a Yeti. I love my Yetis. I have them in every color. Like I give them as gifts.
That's funny. I've got I have 2 Yeti products and both were intended for wine.
For wine? Do you drink? I'm putting my phone on do not disturb. How do I do that? Let me see here.
I would just swipe down the corner.
Focus. There we go. Do not disturb because I just got a phone call and I don't want to be. Hi, Shelly.
All right, everyone in the TikTok world, make sure you're tapping and sharing, doing the things. Good morning, everybody. We've got Meredyth Willits here. Meredyth with a Y. Yeah. TikTok share. Well, and feel free to share in all the platforms. Look at us go. All this tech savvy. I try to explain to people and they're like, well, you're kind of old. I'm like, yeah, except I was alive when they invented technology.
Literally. I remember my first computer. I remember when the World Wide Web.
Me too. Well, we were in college, right? Because
Oh,
I think we're the same
yeah.
age.
Yeah, because my dad bought me a word processor, and you'd like type like a keyboard, and then it would like you could see it on a screen, and then it would print like a printer. I mean, we've been here for all of it. Like
All of it.
the phone, AAA to get to C,
Oh,
DDD. Yeah.
yeah.
We had the jitterbug before it was a jitterbug.
I remember when we got, yeah, that the first cell phones came out, and I'm like, what's the point of texting? Just call someone. Like,
Yeah. Now if you call
not,
me, someone's dead. Like if you're like if someone calls me, it's like,
what's wrong?
who's dead? What's going on? Is everything okay? Like that's my first like why are you calling me? What do you
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
because like I talk on the phone for a living. I mean, like think about like when you like 99% of my appointments are over the phone. So like I talk for hours and hours throughout the day. So like by the time someone wants to talk to me, I'm like, I'm done. I'm out. Like I can't.
Right.
Much. Like let's text.
Right. Right. Even now, I'm just like so overwhelmed with everything. I tell people all the time, if I don't get back to you right away, you might need to remind me
Yeah.
because,
Get at the top of my text.
yep,
100%.
if it's important, don't be afraid to and bully me about it. Feel free to bully me about it because I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna just like check
Yeah,
out.
and I have to do it like right away or you're gone. Like if I don't like tap into like that text and get back to you right away,
It gets buried.
it gets buried and then I'm like 2 days later I'm like, did I ever get back to that person?
Right.
Yeah,
Right. So
100%.
let's talk about what you do. Why do you talk on the phone all day, Meredith?
Well,
Mhm.
so like I would say the top of the line of what I do is intuitive life coaching. Um, so it's like using psychic, using medium, using channel, using energy to help people with their life's problems. So like for me, I also do emotional release work, which is basically using the main meridian
Mhm.
with psychic. So it's the emotion code. So Dr. Bradley Nelson invented the emotion code and the body code. I do both of those, which is basically like the energetic body, removing those stuck energy, stuck emotions, stuck garbage that creates illness, creates mental issues, health issues, things of that nature. But I do it long distance using long distance kinesiology, which is basically tapping into someone's energy field
Right.
and then using the emotion code. He's got like a whole slew of emotions, right? And then finding that the way that's expounded though has been really fascinating because when I'm channeling, it's usually that, that person's higher self. And like let's say I'm doing like right now betrayal. And as I'm releasing betrayal on a client,
Mhm.
I'll be like, okay. And so all of a sudden it's the eyes, and then it's the left eye, which is from where I sit, it's the feminine. I'm usually not wrong. I'm never wrong because it's not me. It's not ego. It's spirit.
Right.
And then it just starts growing. And it's just like I'm running down the trail in that one emotion, finding layers upon layers upon layers. So end of the day, psychic medium channel, emotion release person, life coach. I
I
do
love all the things.
all the
All
things.
the
It's
things.
your hour. It's your hour. I'm just here for it. And usually, which is fascinating. I just had an appointment yesterday.
Mhm.
I've been working with her for years, and it's so funny. Like yesterday, she'll just tell me like what's going on, and I write and pull out, and I see certain things. The first gaggle of stuff that she's telling me, um, that took like 20 minutes. And because what is that gaggle at the top is actually um the other stuff is just like leading up to that. It's feeding into that first, you know what I mean? And so
Right.
like that's her biggest problem. And then so as I release that, as I go down, a lot of those things have already disappeared.
Yes.
They've already disappeared. And so it's really, really fascinating. It's like, and what's really cool, especially with her and I are pretty, the more we work together, the more connected you become. I don't know if you realize
Yes.
that with your clients,
Yeah.
but if you don't know anything about craniosacral, it's very slight presses and holds on the physical body. Okay. If you've never done craniosacral, it's unbelievable.
Okay.
And so I was actually like, because I am the person, whoever I'm working on, I become them. I'm sharing energy with them to such a degree that we are basically at one during the appointment. And I was like rubbing my head and like I can feel and like there's a bunch of energy trapped in your jaw. Okay, I can feel it. And I'm like literally doing like pushing motions on the side of my ears, releasing energy from her in the physical and in the spiritual and in the emotional all at the same time. And then like later in the appointment, I'm like doing this as we're working on like a heart thing. None of this is because I'm smart. None of it. None of it's because, oh, I took a class and massage. I'm like, dude, I am like, my body has been taken over. I'm just like over there, like, my eyes are closed. I have no idea what's going on. Like, she's just over there listening to me, I'm sure, taking notes. And then sometimes I get off the appointment, I'm like, all right, sis, you need to drink like 1.5 gallons of water today. Do not go on any ladders. I got so dizzy in there because you're literally doing like psychic surgery.
Right.
And the whole body is like realigning. And the only thing I'll tell, drink a lot of water for 3 to 5 days. Try to stay away from meat and dairy. Your pee might smell really bad. Sorry, I just saw you take a swig of drink.
I'm a mom. Like, there are things that just don't bother me.
Yeah, and like don't like walk on ladders, and then try not to sleep tonight till at least 8 p.m. If you take a nap, take like because it does take a lot out of you. So
yeah,
that's kind of like what I spend the majority of my days doing is all of that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
That's really cool. I do something similar, but not nearly as in depth. And mine is like the person's not even present.
Oh, really?
And I record it.
Oh, wow. So you like tap in.
Yeah. So I go higher self to higher self.
Yeah, yeah.
Called I call it multidimensional healing, channeled healing.
Yeah.
So I'll pull in my higher self and their higher self are like connected.
Yep.
And then I can feel
Yeah.
what's going on with them if I need to. And then what I'm doing is I'm speaking, but it's my higher self. I'm actually just channeling my higher self and their higher self while recording it. So really my conscious mind's like, deuces.
I know when people are like, remember when you told me this? And I'm like, nope. I was on another planet when I told you that. Like yesterday it was so funny. I was like, I was talking to her and I'm like, I don't know what word I'm supposed to say here because I can't find it because I'm not here. Like I'm literally talking, Meredyth's talking, but Meredyth's talking like around the spirit thing. So I'm like, I'm not really here, so I can't find the word right now. Hold on a minute. I'm like trying to find the word. And you're just like, and then sometimes have you ever had it where you're like, my voice is like cracking or you like say weird, like you get like a weird, not an accent, but like, I don't even know how to describe it. You're like, you get.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. So like all of a sudden you're talking weird. Like I can't even emulate I can't like the accents I've had before.
Yes.
So yeah.
And I'm always like, I don't know why my voice sounds funny, but pay attention. Like I'll say like, listen to my voice. You're having an issue with your throat or something like that. So yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
I've had that happen too. Yeah. Or they'll say, I'll be speaking in third person. Well, you'll notice Lorenda's voice is crackling right now. That's because we're releasing the physical and And while we're at it, we're just going to clear hers too. Like they'll say stuff like that.
So the last couple times I've done emotional release. So this is a conversation between Lorinda and I, and you guys can watch. The last couple times and especially this morning, I was thinking about it before coming on here. Sometimes when I do this work, I wonder if the person that I'm working on and I have some kind of soul contract, especially if it's, like I said, is someone I'm working with a lot, such that I know I would not work on myself if it were not for the appointment. And because of the appointment, we're healing each other by way of, because like when I'm done with my appointment with them, for them, a lot of times I'm like, wow, that was really something that maybe I needed to work on and wouldn't have had this person not made an appointment. Like I don't know, it's pretty fascinating the way it's all working out. And we're all supposedly one, so that makes sense.
It does make sense. And I know, I don't know about you, but because I own a dance studio, because I do all these other things, I want my time in helping people to be reciprocal in an energetic way. So I tell spirit, like, bring me people that I can help, that are open, that are willing to accept that help. They're ready, truly ready to receive, and that I can learn something from as well.
Yeah.
Bring a lesson for me. I'm not here just to be like, I am the authority and
Oh God, yeah.
Literally in nothing.
Right. I'm just a conduit.
Right. And I tell you, no matter whether it's QHHT, whether it's a mediumship reading, every single client that I have, I learn from.
Yeah. I didn't know you were a QHHT practitioner until I was putting in a little description for my Facebook and YouTube thing this morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, because I did QHHT level 2. I don't do it. I can do it. But it's probably the most important training that I've ever done to get to where I'm at, just because you learn the layers, it just unlocks everything about life. But I'm not a sit in a room for 5-hour kind of gal.
That's where I struggle.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if I'm looking at from a business point of view, the payout for the 5 hours versus the 2 hours is just not it, However, I do like the work, and you're right. The layers, the things that I've learned from being in hypnosis myself and working with other practitioners is like learning about things that I know nothing about.
Yeah.
I can have a practitioner who's deep dives into woo-woo stuff and is like, talk to me about DNA structure and blah, blah, blah. And my conscious mind is going, what is she talking about now?
Right.
And my mouth is going, well, funny, you should ask that. And then deep dive into it. My brain's like, what are we talking about? What is happening right now? But so I learn a lot, and I do get clients that I'll say, hey, I've got a couple of woo questions. When you're under, if all is going well and you seem to be okay, do you mind if I ask a couple of questions that are more scientific based? And 100% always yes. But and so it's kind of interesting. So I try to get something out of it. And also I fully believe that people are brought to us because there's a reflection of something that we need to do. So in the work that you're talking about, you do, you're probably right. There's probably something there that, whether you're aware of it or not, that needs jostling around or booted out or something. So, or even just processed. But it's all, the lessons. We're here to learn. So, that's how I try to see it. And no matter what type of any of the practices that I'm doing, whether it's mediumship, the multidimensional work, or QHHT, any of that. But I will say QHHT has helped my trance mediumship like 100-fold.
Yeah.
So
you can get yourself there probably faster.
Like that.
And you can go in and go deep faster.
Yep. I don't need to do, I've just learned how to get my conscious mind out of the way. So even in hypnosis, if I'm working with another practitioner, I don't have to go through and let's go to the cloud, and then we're going to become one with the cloud
I
and
can't.
move. I don't have to do any of that. I just be like, give me a second,
Oh, that's so good.
and I can get to that
You can get
theta.
to the cloud.
I can get to the cloud. Although I do love the cloud. I love the cloud,
How
but
long have you been done QHHT?
4 years now.
What is
I had zero time to do anything as far as classes or certifications until COVID hit.
Yeah,
And then because everything was even QHHT, you had to go to a destination.
yeah. I
You
did
had
mine all online too.
and so when they offered it online and then offered a discount, I'm like,
Yep.
done, game on. I did that. I was able to do the Biddy Tarot master level tarot stuff, tarot certification.
Do
I
you find
started
tarot clunky now that you can tap in by yourself? Like I find it to be like that kind of stuff. Like anything like that is like it. Now I have to shuffle a card. Like, this is too much. Like, can I just and honestly, like with even with the QHHT, when I would be doing appointments,
uh-huh.
I was seeing everything before they were saying it. So I just started doing past life readings. And so like if you have an appointment with me, I'll just do a past life reading and we can cut out the middleman. Now that said, it is very powerful to
Yes,
hear your own voice on a recording
correct.
talking about all of the nonsense. But if someone wants an appointment that's
Mhm.
30 minutes and doesn't have X amount of dollars to spend on a 5 hour hypnosis appointment, and you want to see me, I can throw in a past life reading, all the other stuff.
Right.
QHHT, Roger on TikTok's asking what QHHT is.
Quantum hypnosis healing technique.
So
It's
it's like
cool hypnosis,
past life regression
not
shit.
passive regression. Created by Dolores Cannon.
It's fascinating. I mean,
It is
I tell people all the time, if you read a Dolores Cannon book, it will be life changing. It's
life altering. Yep.
life altering. And the fact that she, almost 100% of what is in those books, besides maybe the foreword, is all client work
Right.
whilst under hypnosis that she has been like recorded and then put into book form is fascinating. The work on Jesus, the Mary Magdalene, this stuff with aliens, what she writes in her books is life changing, fascinating stuff. So if you are interested in it, and all of it, she has a client or two or 10 or 1,000 that are under hypnosis, and that is what she's writing about. It's fantastic.
Right.
Her daughter, someone says, who teaches Dolores Cannon techniques? Her daughter, um, Julia,
Julia.
Julie,
Mhm.
Julia Cannon teaches it now, and a guy named Kai, I think he's still doing
Yeah.
it with Julia.
Mhm.
And she wrote Soul Speaks, which is
Yeah.
very much in line
Oh
with
yeah,
the body.
I'm certified. Yeah, I'm certified in that.
Are you really? Oh, wow,
Mhm.
cool. So, very, very fascinating work, which did you know? I don't know if it's still not in there, but Psychosomatic, they got rid of that out of the DSM. I think we're on the DSM 10 or I don't even know. It's the like you have bipolar disorder, and these are the things that show you that you have bipolar. Well, the DSM 4 was the last one I read. I told you how old I am. They took psychosomatic illness out of that book, either for a time or it's still out, which basically everything is psychosomatic unless you just got hit by a truck. The brain connects. I mean, we
Right.
could go. I could talk about psychosomatic and the body keeps the score and soul speaks and inflammation and Dr. Sarno, healing back pain, Candace Pert, the molecules of emotion, all of these of where the brain creates inflammation and sends inflammation T cells down to the body, which create basically every illness known to mankind.
Right.
Fascinating, fascinating stuff.
Interesting. I'm not familiar with all that.
Oh well, if you're doing Soul Speaks,
Well, yeah, yeah,
Soul
yeah.
Soul Speaks is the culmination of the
Correct.
work of all of those
All
people that are
those.
scientists. Yes. So you're doing the work of all the scientists, and the books that I just mentioned is the scientific backing
Right.
of your work you're doing.
Right.
So good.
It's all such like, it is all such good stuff. Like just understanding just how to manage our meat suit. Like, I don't know. It's mind blowing to me. And then how it can connect to, I don't know. It's hard for me to put into words. Um, but yes, I understand what you're talking about. Like how I just had a whole ADHD moment.
But yeah, your brain, I mean, so like, let's say, so the way Dr. Sarno describes it is like, and the way I describe it to clients is like, society says that it is inappropriate to take a day, a week, a month off because you are having an emotional moment. You're overwhelmed, let's say, right? You're overwhelmed with life. And so you're going to call your boss and you're saying, "Hi, I'm overwhelmed with life. I won't be in for a week." And they're like, "Yeah, none of that's happening. You're
Mhm.
fired." However, if you call in and you say, "I threw my back out," society understands that you are incapable of getting out of bed. Okay. So, and these illnesses, inflammation borne illnesses, travel in packs and are societally acceptable for the time. And so back in the 90s, everybody had an ulcer. Everybody had an ulcer.
It's true.
and then and then it was like everybody had carpal tunnel. Now everybody has, what's that heel thing?
Plantar
Plantar fasciitis.
fasciitis.
Everyone has that, right? Lower back pain.
Right.
So when you see it, the underlying factor behind the illness is inflammation, which causes pain. Okay. So what the brain has done is it says, right? This person says, "Oh my
Wrong.
God, I remember the ulcer times." Now no one
Yeah,
has an ulcer.
it's true.
So what happens is the brain goes, "All right, Meredyth cannot handle the stress, and society is not going to let her take time off. So what we're going to do is we're going to send T cells, inflammation cells, to a place that her brain has picked up in society as being societally acceptable reason to check out."
Yep.
Okay? These things travel in packs. And because your brain looks around and goes, "Is that an acceptable reason to take a week off of work?" Yes. Okay, perfect. And so then the brain gives you, and this is secondary, you have the pain, you have the illness, you have the issue. You cannot talk yourself out of it because you believe it. The brain is all working at one.
Right.
And so what happens is then you succumb to this, and it allows you to stay in bed, it allows you to check out, it allows you to not do laundry, it allows you to not deal with your kids. And the problem is that this is what we would call, I would say, maybe the fourth step in illness. So at first it's like, quit your job. You should probably quit your job. Your job is stressful. You need to get out of this marriage. You have a bad friend. And then it's just like, then it becomes anxiety or panic attacks. And
Right.
then it becomes like, maybe headaches
Mhm.
or stomach aches. We see this in children. And then it becomes debilitation. And then it becomes cancer. And then it becomes autoimmune.
Right.
And then it becomes death. And so by the time you're starting to get physical symptoms, your brain is working so hard for you to make that change in your life that this is where we are.
Yeah.
So that is,
Oh, so yes. And that's the whole idea, like you said, behind soul speak is
yep,
understanding the root cause. It's not about why does my foot hurt? Well, because you walk funny. Well, why do you walk funny? And why do you da-da? And da-da-da-da. And whether it's rooted in this life, and sometimes it has nothing to do with anything going on in this particular lifetime.
right.
That's a whole other deep dive.
It's a whole other hour.
Whole deep dive. But getting to the root cause of it and then addressing it there, which goes back to even what you do with your coaching and tuning in. You don't just go to the first layer of it. You go to the root cause, which is
Yeah.
what I do with the multidimensional,
Yep.
and QHHT is getting to the root cause. And even with QHHT, that deep dive, I learned to take like what I learned in Soul Speak, and then also just my own experiments with other practitioners to be able to go back even further and explore like the spiritual DNA and looking at the lineage of the DNA that's coming through, and like it's so all of it's fascinating, but there's always a root cause. And you're right, by the time it's manifested physically, that's not the first thing. Now,
No.
you, and people might argue, somebody in there said, well, it's not with all illnesses. And maybe not.
I
Maybe
mean,
not.
okay, so let's go there for a minute. So I don't know if you know about CLL. It's a type of leukemia,
Mhm.
which you get from Roundup.
Mhm.
Okay, and it's a leukemia that you get from chemicals.
Right.
Okay, so basically, if all of us have the propensity of cancer in our bodies, some of us it's turned on, some of us it is not turned on. And so when I look at leukemia, because I know someone that has this,
Yeah.
uh, what I saw is that their blood was boiling. They're angry.
Yeah.
Now, do children get leukemia? Are they angry? No.
No.
But when we start to study, and this is the hardest, they're closing my throat, being like, tread carefully here,
Tread
Meredith.
lightly.
Tread lightly. You're about to walk on hot coals. We have to be mindful that there is lessons to be learned in every lifetime, and we never know what those lessons are. And we need to not judge a person's path as being bad or good, but yet valuable. And so, and I've actually, it's weird because I just had a bunch of podcast episodes I recorded, and there's like three of us. One of them is Shauna the mom. I don't know if any of you guys follow Shauna the mom. She was on my podcast
I
yesterday.
love her.
I know she's so fantastic. And she had cancer. And we were talking about how, and another gal was on, and she had a brain tumor cancer. And someone says there's so much echo. And she
Right
said,
now, right back in, or go to YouTube.
yeah, we're on YouTube too.
Yeah, they're in the car.
And she said that all of these folks, including myself, the minute we've got cancer, we were reborn into a completely different existence. And so, do some people pass away from cancer? Yes. And that is, it is very, very sad. And I always say I had gold star cancer because I'm still here. But when I see someone that has cancer and lives through it, it might as well be a birthday party, and a first birthday party, because they're a new person.
Yeah.
And so we need to take these illnesses and stressors and go, wait a minute, I'm out of balance. What's going on here?
Right.
I don't care if it's a headache, time to lay down, time you need more water, whatever it is, there's something going on that you need to pay attention to, and not ignore, because when your body is finally screaming at you, you've ignored tons of signs before that, trust me.
Right.
Tons of signs.
Tons. And I agree. I agree with that. And someone like we started to talk about, like someone mentioned, like not all children, are suppressing things. But there's also
Past life.
coming from the spiritual aspect of it and coming in with the QHHT bigger picture.
Yeah.
And the DNA, like the spiritual DNA, like there's so many studies that are being done also that are starting to show that there's just more merit to it. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
But again, I understand my lane and understand I am not a doctor. I'm not any of those things. So I'm not even a scientist.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like my daughter, so I have a 16-year-old, and she never like really was into what I do. You know what I mean? My oldest daughter is, the other ones are, I have 4 kids. And so she's like, Mom, will you read my friend? And she's never like, why would my kids see me do that? Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's my job. Who goes to work with her mom? And so I'm standing in the kitchen and I start reading her friend, which happened to spend the night last night. She's downstairs, but this was a while ago. And I just start, going through it, and my daughter's watching like, holy shit, you can really do this. It's like, what do you think? I'm scamming people out of money? Like, I would have been found out a long time ago if I really couldn't do this. Like,
Right.
that's what people don't realize in this day and age with social media and Yelp and Google reviews and Facebook reviews that you cannot delete, by the way. You cannot delete a Facebook review. If someone annihilates you on Facebook because you are a scammer,
It's there forever.
it's there forever. I have the weirdest stuff on my Facebook reviews that have nothing to do with me. People just, I don't even know what they did. It's like bots or something.
Right.
And I message Facebook. I'm like, this has nothing to do with me. Like, it doesn't even talk about me. And they're like, basically too bad, so sad. But in this day and age, the ability to have a scammer is almost impossible with social media. It's almost impossible. That said, so my daughter's watching me do this. She's completely freaked out. She can't believe that this is happening. We were driving in the car the other day. She's like, my friend has this anxiety. And so I'm driving. So I don't know if you do this, but like when someone invites you in, do you go there? Like, does your brain like speak Spanish? That's how I call it. It's like psychic is like speaking Spanish. So like if so my daughter is like, Mom, why is, Kelly having so much anxiety? And so as soon as she asks me, my brain looks for it.
Yes. No,
right?
I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So you just
That's
like,
a good way to put it.
I start like looking for it in my, like,
oh yeah. My eyes will like do a weird thing. Like it, like, are you having a seizure? Nope.
Yes, your eyes are like looking for it in your brain, right? And so I'm driving to TJ Maxx and I'm like basically tapping into this girlfriend of hers. And I'm like, oh, she was in a plane crash. She was like a World War II bomber, and she was in a plane crash. And I'm sitting there driving a car, crashing an airplane into a freaking ocean, and I'm having a freaking ass anxiety attack. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is so scary. Because, the girl's afraid to drive a car. Hello.
Which makes sense.
She flew a plane into an ocean. I would be afraid to drive too. So I'm driving, crashing a plane into an ocean, and I'm like, like, God knows if I'm really driving the car at this point. And I like pull in. So now we're shopping, get some stuff and get back in the car. And she's like, ask me, I'm like, Emerson, stop asking questions. I have to drive a car. Like, it's making me so dizzy because usually I'm sitting in a chair. I've got my 3-ring binder. Yes. I'm very relaxed. No, I'm driving a car, crashing a plane. So, and I'm also tapping into this girl. Who's dealing with severe anxiety. And so it's like making me have anxiety because I'm sharing her energy. So I'm her. And I go, Emerson, stop asking me questions. My brain is trying to find what her problem is. So yeah, it's very real.
It is. It is because you want to help in the moment, but then also
ask me later.
Right. Yeah. Probably not when I'm driving a car.
Crashing into a.
Although I will say, I've had some amazing stuff come through, channeled through having conversations in the car because my conscious mind is actually driving, but then. So it's a form of meditation. Well, plus I do love to drive. Like, so I'm in that zone. And so I'm not looking at the person. I'm not, so you know what I mean? So like I'm taking one of my senses and occupying it. And then I'll start channeling.
Yep.
While I'm in the car. And sometimes, and if I've had situations where I'll be with a person, I'll go, that wasn't me. Just so we're clear, I have no idea what I just said, but it wasn't me.
That was my evil twin sister, Veronica. Well, Dolores Cannon says when you're driving and when you're watching TV, when you're falling asleep and waking up, you're entering that brain, what is it, gamma or alpha or whatever?
I think it's alpha is I forget. I get the alpha and the beta mixed up. Theta is when you're in sleep. Like the sleep, or not sleep. Theta is where you go for the hypnosis.
Okay.
But there's alpha and beta, and I always get the two mixed up where I'm pretty sure beta is you're still awake, you're just kind of like da da da, and alpha is like I
Yeah.
think
Yeah. But yeah, we're totally hypnotized when we're driving,
we are.
which is why people go, I don't know how I got here.
I don't
It's
know.
like real, that's a real thing. You were really hypnotized the whole time you were.
Right. Which actually, you know what, is actually why I'm going to date myself here. I love driving a stick shift
Oh,
because
that's
it
how I
keeps
learned.
me engaged
Yep.
and I can't think about all the other things. And that's
Yep.
why I like riding my motorcycle, not just for the wind therapy, but because I have to focus on the gear
Everything.
shifting, the up shifting, down shifting, and like all the things. And I have to be constantly aware. So I'm not thinking about any of my problems.
Yeah.
So that's about the only time I'm not in that weird state. But if I'm in my just regular car and I'm just cruising,
Yeah.
blah, I'm solving
Um,
all the world's problems in my mind.
yeah. I learned how to drive a car on a stick shift. That was, what was it? A Honda Accord 2-door stick. I
Nice.
learned, I know, right? What was
I
that?
had that's how I learned how to drive a stick was a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
Little
But I
it
mean,
looked like a
you're tapped in. You are tuned in. I mean, that's a good thing
mhm.
for kids to learn. But I mean, honestly, with me, even have like everywhere I go, I use GPS navigation.
I do too, only because I get notified if there's some if I'm going home, I do it because I'll get notified if there's a cop up there. Not that
But
I
I
speed.
do it just because like there could be a better route or there could be
An
a
accident.
accident or something or whatever. And but that keeps me present. Like if
Right.
I knew where I was going, I would really probably check out.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Well,
Someone
again, I solve all the
saying
world's problems.
this person, Roger, his first car was a Toyota Corolla. We should ask anyone if they have any questions or anything like that. Like
Sure.
not necessarily
What
reading, but
questions do you all have
I know
for
for
Mary
any of us.
for any of us?
What do you like to do best? Channel, psychic, medium, QHHT?
Mhm.
What's your favorite?
I do love trance channeling because it's so now that I'm actually good at it, I love
Yeah,
doing trance, but my most rewarding, honestly, is mediumship.
yeah.
I
That's
love mediumship. It
yeah.
it and still trance is a form of mediumship. Um, but yeah. Oh, somebody, you know what? In YouTube, somebody said, I am a psychic medium also. How do you know when your body is getting specially aligned? Are you getting a spiritual transformation?
Say that
What do you
again.
All right. So Jasmine says, I'm a psychic medium also. How do you know when your body is getting specially aligned?
Mhm.
Are you getting spiritual transformation? What's been your experience? I think I know what she's talking about. Do you know what she's talking about?
You mean like where your physical body becomes in alignment with your spiritual self?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Or even when I do mediumship, especially trance mediumship, my guides are preparing me the day before, even if I don't know that I'm going to be doing it. I can feel the physical effects.
Yeah, if I like, let's say I'm doing a party where there's going to be like, let's say even 6 or 10 people, whatever, right?
Mhm.
I will start to read the party 2 weeks before I get there.
Yep.
And one of the coolest things is I had a party. So I'll do it basically by where people might be sitting. I don't know anyone that's coming. I don't know anybody's names. I've never been to the house before, but my brain will set up the house
Yep.
accordingly, right? And so the only thing I will ask before is, will I be sitting in a room solo doing tiny appointments, or will I be sitting in front of everybody at the same time? So I pre-read everybody in the room 2 weeks before to expedite the party, right?
Right.
And so I was going around. It was so cool because there was a person that sat down. Someone came in late. They switched seats. So the person that came in got the more comfortable chair because she was older. And as I came around, it was exactly the way it was supposed to be. Had they not switched seats when that person came in late, the party wouldn't have been correct.
Interesting.
How crazy is that?
I love that. I love
Isn't that
that.
the most isn't that
That's a
I love it so much.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that you as the medium no,
Yep.
I can't make that up. Like, you can't, like, no one else can you really explain that to where they understand it fully and they're like, "Okay, that's cute," because it could have been made up, but I didn't make that up.
Yeah, you know, you
Yeah,
know. Someone says, hold on, let's see, on TikTok, why do spirits sometimes present themselves as a different person, but all their evidence is correct? Why do spirits sometimes present themselves as a
mm,
different person? Like if they were African American, but show you a white dude. So, okay. Usually when I do mediumship, in the beginning, they will show themselves as they were on Earth so that we can recognize them,
mhm.
right? Because otherwise, if I'm like, oh, and this person is a thin 5'2" white woman, the person I'm reading for is going to be like, yeah, no,
That's not it.
that's my grandma was 5'8" and 250 pounds. And I'm going to be like, oh, huh. So it would be wrong. So usually in the beginning, they will show up exactly as they were on Earth. Then once we have realized we have the right spirit, the right person,
Right?
then they will a lot of times show themselves as they truly were, as they truly wanted to be, as they feel as themselves, and as they are now without the human physical body and the human physical emotions. So let's say they were an angry elf on Earth and they were just mean and nasty. They will show up
As mean and nasty.
as mean and I'm like, wait a minute, this person's got heavy. This is like they're mad at everything. Like they're drinking their coffee angry. They're slamming shit, slamming cabinet doors in the kitchen. And they're like, yep, that's my mom. And
That's
I'm
it.
like, all right, we've got the right person. And then they slowly kind of morph and they're like, but wait a minute, now all of a sudden their heart's breaking and they feel really bad. And they're watching you as you're sleeping in your room in a twin bed. And there's sadness. There's like, why can't I connect with my daughter? Mm,
Yeah,
right.
right.
And then they shut the bedroom door because they can't. And that is when you have the most amazing mediumship reading
Yes.
because you're seeing the layers of that human. You're seeing as they presented, you're seeing as they were when you were not privy to their emotions. And then they're going to represent their sorrow and sadness. And you get all the layer. That's what I'm good at. I'm good at all of what I just described. Those emotional layers of the person. I'm not going to be able to tell you when your birthday is or your grandmother's middle name. Don't
Right.
test me. I'm not that medium. But I'm going to be able to be the empath to feel your person that's passed and see their devastation as they're closing your teenage bedroom door. Like, I just want to go in there and lay with my daughter, but I can't do it because I'm broken.
Right.
That to me is the best part of mediumship when you can relay that to a person.
Right.
So good.
Right. And that will be, and this is where also spirit will align you with the medium that you need.
Yep. Yep.
Because I get information dumps at first. And I don't always see the spirit in my mind unless there was something significant about the spirit's look. It's
Mhm.
all what the sitter needs to hear.
Yeah.
Whatever that sitter needs, I don't know what that sitter needs, but the spirit's going to give me what they need to hear to identify the spirit. And so
Yeah.
sometimes it is a birthday. Sometimes it is how tall they were.
Yeah.
Sometimes but they will never come in and be like, "And all love and light," especially if they were grouchy here.
Yeah.
They're gonna come in and, I was just talking about this in class last night. The spirit, when they first come, will come to you as the sitter will recognize them.
Yep.
And it's my job to honor whatever that spirit wants to bring. I am the voice of spirit. So however they show up, however the sitter needs it, that's how I'm going to show up as the
Yep.
medium. And so they're not going to come to me if it's the emotion stuff they need all the time. Now, that being said, that's not true. If that's what the sitter needs, I can do that. But
Mhm.
um My specialty is more of like, okay, so here's the spirit. What wisdom would you want to impart upon the person that I'm reading for? Why are you coming in? There's always a reason they're coming in. It does drive me crazy when I watch mediums, especially like on TikTok. They just information dump and there's no message.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are they coming in? We're giving spirit a voice. We have provided a stage for them. Can you imagine being like, yes, I'm now at Radio City Music Hall. I'm here on stage.
Yeah. And yeah.
And
Yeah,
like,
I mean, like, the big thing now is evidential mediumship, which is great. Like, it's not like your dad loved you. I
no,
paid you $160 to tell me my dad loved me, kiss my ass.
right.
You know, like, I
Right.
need a little bit more than that. I need to make sure that it's really my dad that you're talking to. Like, I need evidence that it's him. So I am clairvoyant, so that means I see spirit. So I will see the mom standing in the doorway. I will see the child in the bed, right? I see all that in my head, okay? I will feel and I will know. I don't get information dumps as much, like you're saying you're good with like dates and all that information. I am not, to this point, that has not been, I don't want to put it into the universe. To this point, it has not been my focus or my lean in, but I'm sure, there's ability in the future.
If your sitter needed it, if your sitter needed it
Yeah,
for whatever reason,
it would
that
show.
spirit would say to you, hey, say June 26th.
Right. You're right. Yeah, true.
And you would honor that.
Correct. Like, right. It would show up because I can see numbers. I have the knowing of. But yeah, I mean, I like you said, I think that there's one thing of evidentiary, but once you realize you've got the person in the room, we're done. Now we just need the
once we already
information.
know.
Yeah, we're there already. So like we got the person, it's grandpa. He just said 3 things that let you know that there's no way I could know anything about that. And so like let's move on. Like,
Thank you.
we're done with the dog and pony show.
Oh my, did we just become best friends? But
Right.
that's literally how I teach my mediumship classes and that's how I was taught. Why are we reveling in oh, and by the way, did they do this? I'm like, well, we already know it's grandpa. We've already said.
Right.
I had a reading yesterday with my mentor. I won a reading with my mentor, which awesome. And she's like, oh, I have someone here named Jean, Eleanor Jean. I'm like, yeah, it's my grandma. She goes, okay. And she wants you to know.
Right there. Yeah.
That was like, it went right into the message and the deep dive and where the message was so important. I knew my grandma is around a lot, but I hadn't heard from her for a while.
Yeah.
And then my next 2 grandparents came in and she just dropped well, first of all, she just drops the names. It's amazing to me. And
so cool.
I know, I love it. But that's how I was trained and that's how I see it. Once we have spirit identification, we go into the healing part of it. We're giving spirit a voice. Why are they showing up? There are vocal points here. Why are they showing up for the sitter right now? What do they need the sitter to know? And
as soon as I know who you are,
we're moving on.
Well, so there's 2 different ways usually that people will be like, okay, I'll just let whomever come forward. And you just sit there willy-nilly. To me, that takes too long. A lot of my appointments are 30 minutes long. I don't have time to wait for me to figure out who you want to talk to. I'll say, give me a first name and a relationship.
Right.
Joe, dad, done. Let's find them. So it's my job to find them in my brain because that's where they all live, right?
And give the evidence to prove that you have them.
Give the evidence that prove that I have them. So now I'm like, okay, did he smoke? So cigarette, cigar. Cigarette, cigar. So like as soon as I see this, it's a cigar, right? So I'm like, okay, did he smoke a cigar? So yep. All right. That's all I need.
That's all you need.
Let's go. Let's go. Right. We don't need to go through the dog and pony. So someone just said, I got a reading the other day by someone and it felt like a gut punch. It was all about his death. So the next thing we've what do you want to know? What do you want to hear about this? They might start imparting information. But it's your communication. This is your conversation. Tell me what you want to talk about. Tell me. Right. This person said, I just kept hearing about the person's death.
And that's not what we want to hear about.
And so I'll say to someone, they'll just tell me what my spirit guides or this person that's passed wants me to know. I might give you 5 seconds, but I tell my clients, if you ask me for food and I give you eggs and you wanted a hot fudge sundae, you're going to be pissed at the end of this phone call. So
Right.
just tell
That's
me
a
what
great
you
analogy. Yes.
talk about, because what I find interesting and what they find interesting, and I promise you, whatever they want to impart upon you will come through. But like, you're allowed to put the order in, at least order something, right?
Well,
And
and if
so,
you've got expectations, when you sign up with me, you pay the money and you have expectations. If
yeah,
so the very first thing I say is, what are you hoping to get out of your time?
right. Who do you want to talk to, and what do you want to know? Like, and I don't need to know a lot. Like, you might want to just say, I just want to hear how they felt about whatever my kids. I don't even know, whatever.
Right.
But a lot of mediums, to prove themselves, will go into detail about the passing.
That drives
Like,
me crazy.
oh, I'm watching him tie the rope.
Right. Now,
We
I will
know how he died. We don't want to
really
go through it again. You know what I
right.
mean? So yeah, like,
Right. And also, now one thing I will say, um, if I get how they passed, it means that sitter needed to
yeah,
know. And
yeah,
I've had people say, we don't know why, we don't know what the cause was. And so then I will tap in, but there also has to be other evidence that would support that claim. Like, oh, cool, he's buried, so I can just make something up right now.
right.
No, there has to, and I'll tell them, "Look, if we're gonna go there, you need to show up with something that makes sense
Yeah,
to the passing and what was going on." So we I have a lot of expectations of my spirits if we're gonna go there,
yeah.
you
Well, I
know?
had somebody that was shot at it was a client. They wanted to know what happened to their brother, I think it was. And
Mhm.
it was a big guy and he got shot in the back. And they wanted to know if it was an accident or if it was on purpose. Now
Mm,
that's really difficult because of the fact that this is the difference between an accident and a murder case. And
right,
right? And
right,
so the way I saw it is that there were two people behind him, and it was like they were trying to figure out the gun, and it did go off and was like an accident. So
right.
you can tell, like, you can see, like, what is this person doing? They're not the gun's not working, right? You're trying to figure out, right? And so I got to be careful of TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and so like there's different things that they'll show, and as soon as I say that, what they're telling me right now to share with all of you is sometimes the word it was an accident because we can't go back and change it. The ship has sailed. It's been 5 years. There's
Right.
sometimes spirit wants their loved ones to put it to bed.
Yes.
And so they might impart upon us to give to you. Yes, thanks, Nicole. Um, Something that's going to give the family peace. And even if it's not 100% true, the peace is worth more than the truth at times.
Yes.
That's what they just told me.
Yep. And I fully understand that.
Yeah.
I
I
fully
mean,
understand
it's
that.
just like you can't go back. So,
Nothing can be done.
yeah.
And I have had spirits come through and say, this was part of the big, I've had them say to me, listen, this was planned. You don't need to say that.
Right. Yep.
This was
Yep.
planned. It was part of the bigger plan. But what you need to tell them is that I'm at peace. Like they'll tell me, like for my own knowledge, like,
Yes. So
oh,
you,
that
right. So
happened.
you have depth.
So I
Yeah.
have depth,
Yeah.
but
Leave it alone too.
but they let me know, walk on eggshells with this. Be careful in the delivery. And like, so I've had spirit just be like, hey, listen, I know you don't know this person, but you're gonna have to say it like this.
Right.
And of course I always honor whatever spirit says, because going back to rule number one, we're giving spirit a voice. Like
Yeah.
that's our job. Our
And
job
that's
is
what
not
we
to
want you
heal
to
the
do it with.
sitter. Our job is to give spirit a voice
Yeah.
and say what they need to have said. Um, So, yeah.
And
But
I got trained very quickly, briefly. Do you know who the Long Island medium is?
Mhm. Teresa
Teresa
Caputo.
Caputo. So her mentor is a woman named Pat Longo. She was actually on the show a couple of times in the beginning. And I worked with her just like for a very brief, like an hour or so. And she taught me to use the yield sign and the stop sign, which means this information is for you, but tread lightly, or stop. I'm going to show it to you, but do not talk about
Say
it.
it. Got it.
And that becomes like, I don't know, sometimes just having background helps you to deliver the message. So you're like, okay, I know this woman's husband is cheating on her, but we're also in a room full of her friends at a party. So I'm going to show you her
Right.
husband cheating with another person or another situation, but
And
you're going to
this is
say,
how you're going to deliver it.
right.
Yeah.
Or maybe we should take this offline and you can make a little quick 15-minute phone call with me for free. Like we'll revisit this another time. So like
Right.
they're very good about saying this is why you're not going to keep searching for it, because you're going to sit here and just beat a dead horse. So stop sign, he's cheating. Hey, why don't we talk about this offline type thing?
Private.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. All of a sudden you hear pivot, and you're
Run. Run in the other direction.
Run away. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I call those spirit HIPAA laws too.
Oh, right.
Because, there are people that will not go to a psychic because they're afraid, or a psychic medium, because they're afraid that the medium will see all their secrets and all the skeletons. I'm like,
Mostly men.
girl, I do not care. I don't want to see all that either. Your
Yeah.
business is your business, and spirit's only going to show me things that get me to say what makes sense for you, but I'm not all up in your business.
Yep.
They might, or they might tell me things like, hey, for context, yes, this is happening, but you're going to have to go a different route.
Yeah. Yeah.
But very rarely, and that doesn't happen very often, to be honest. Like usually they just give me what the sitter needs and what they need to say, and giving them the tools to navigate forward and whatever it is that they're wanting to know about.
One thing I talk about too is a lot of times if you have a real medium, which like I said, in this day and age, it's almost impossible not to because of Yelp and reviews and all that stuff, you'll be outed, is that a lot of times if you're wrong, it's not that you're got a bad medium, it's that they're interpreting it wrong. So for example,
100%.
I might say, yeah, I see police at your front door. Like, is someone in trouble? This is just an example. And
Yeah.
they're like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm just like, okay. So that's through my filter. I
Right.
see someone at the front door. I see someone in uniform. I'm thinking it's a cop. I have no
No
clue
context of
or
what's
anything
happening.
else,
Right.
right? And then I'll go, okay, never mind. I'm going to tell you exactly what I see. There's someone in uniform at my front door, and they go, oh,
Oh, that
yes,
makes sense.
it's actually someone from the army coming to tell my mom that my brother had passed away.
Yes.
So my interpretation, I know no one in the military, grandparents, right? So my only thing is police. But
Right.
once I tell them exactly what I'm seeing instead of my interpretation, then the message has been delivered. The other thing too is if I say police and they're like, and this would be a huge part of the reading, obviously, if
Right.
a grandmother is receiving the news of a dead son, they won't let go. They'll just keep showing me those people at the front door. It will not stop until I go, all right, there's that person still at the front door. We got to figure it out, because they'll be relentless to make sure that this message is delivered.
Absolutely.
This is when you know you have a real medium, such that when you say, I have no idea what you're talking about, they are not bothered by that.
No.
They look at that as part of the path to the answer, and they go, okay, I'm interpreting it wrong. Let's find out. Let's figure this out together, because for some reason my perspective is off. All right, because they're not letting go. So let's go there. This is what I see. There's a front porch. There's a guy in a uniform, and then the kid goes, oh my God, you got it. So A medium will not be like, oh, it's part of the process to find the truth. And
Correct.
a real medium's okay with that.
I would literally, I think it's funny because I talk about all kinds of stuff in my spiritual development class, but that was literally what we talked about last night was when you're doing mediumship, one of the people ask, how do you deal with a no? I'm like, oh, game on.
Game on, right.
Game on. It's if it's important, they'll find a way to get me to say it. And this is rule number one in mediumship when it comes to delivering a message. Say what you see, hear, feel, and know. Period. Yeah. It's not about you interpreting because you know what? I might get this vision of me and my best friend Sarah hopping on a pogo stick. Okay, so what is the mess? What am I supposed to be saying there? I'm going to say, I'm seeing my best friend and I jumping on a pogo stick.
Right. Right.
Would you understand that? And they're going to go, oh my gosh, my best friend's name is Sarah. Or, oh my gosh, I just bought a pogo stick for my kid. So I'm going to say what I'm getting because spirit is using my Rolodex, my information, my experiences to get me to say certain things, which goes back to the spirit HIPAA laws too, by the way. That means I can speak of an experience. I can speak of something that I don't necessarily have a reference for in their life or that I'm not seeing in their life. But they're keeping that privacy, just getting me to say certain things. It's like a big game of charades. It's awesome.
100%.
So like any of my students that are, there's a number of my students that are in here, they're going to be like, she says that all the time. So I'm going to mute this person. They keep dropping questions because I don't want to block.
A game of charades, right? Mystic Moon or Moon Mystic? Game of charades. And you know what, when I got really, so I started doing this, I actually taught myself to be a medium.
Well, we all have it in us, but
yeah, I've always been sensitive. This didn't start happening for me until I was in my late 30s, and I'm 52 now. And I got really good at it. I did Monday Night Medium on Facebook Live. And at the top of it, it was like 50,000 people were watching.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I've got 55. That's a big, I'm in a win zone right now.
No, dude, I was freaking out because I was just like kind of knowing what I was doing, kind of. And I would just sit there, but I'm telling you right now, you do your best. But when I got good is I stopped filtering. I stopped filtering.
Say what you see, what you get and know.
So it was this one situation, and this person that has passed came through, and they were talking about the peach bridesmaids dresses. Now, if you know anything about the 80s, it was all about peach and light seafoam green. Like those were the colors, baby. And so I'm sitting here in Florida, in the year, what would that be? 20, whatever. And I'm like, no one would have a peach bridesmaid's dress. So this is what's going on in my head while I'm on Facebook Live. And I don't want to say it, right? And I'm just like, they keep talking about the peach bridesmaids dresses. And they were like, oh my God, that was my sister's wedding. That was the last time I danced with my dad. And it was like, damn it, if I would have just said what I saw. Yes. I'm so mad, right? And then there was this other time on Facebook Live, and I'm like, I don't know. I just kept seeing this brown bottle. We're talking about some woman's husband. And I'm like, he just keeps talking about this brown bottle and how he didn't have a casket. And she goes, oh my God, we cremated him and put him in a Jack Daniels bottle.
First of all, that's genius.
And I was like, shut the hell up. And so that's when I learned to just be like, get out of your ego. And I am not good at this because I'm good at this. And I am not bad at this because I'm bad at this. I am just delivering a message. This doesn't mean I'm a good medium or a bad medium or a good. You're the best of the best of the best when you just say, this has nothing to do with me. Just say what you see and shut the hell up.
Shut up. Right. Thank you. So you're just literally reinforcing everything that I literally just said last night.
Yeah.
And that's how you have to be. And I didn't understand that. What's funny is we going back to tarot cards. I did tarot cards for years thinking, not really understanding like that
The energy.
when I get that grandmother energy coming in and I'm channeling someone with the tarot card, that's mediumship. Had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
And then I finally got myself a mentor and I was like, oh,
Oh.
wait. I've been doing this all along. Oh,
Oh.
but I learned very early on if I wanted to be successful in getting that, if I wanted to get that message across, I couldn't interpret it.
Yeah.
I could, and I've said this, I've talked about like Sylvia Brown, for instance. I feel fully her demise was because
Ego.
she felt the need to interpret because that's what people expected.
And she was so arrogant.
So arrogant.
God, was she arrogant. I mean, when she's sitting up on that stage, what was that, Oprah or some shit, or Donahue?
Montel Williams.
Montel Williams, and she's like, with those
Oh, I'm
diamonds.
a medium. I can see him. I'm like, ooh.
And she's so smug and like putting people in her place and all this
Mhm.
shit. And I'm just watching that. I'm like, you are such a bitch. Like just saying, like, you know, that those spirits were over there going, yield, stop, yield, stop. And she's like, I'm gonna say it, whatever. Like she literally needed a martini and a cigarette on a long stick. Honey, your mom has cheated on you. You're not even her real daughter. Like she's so gross. Like I just can't. Like that's ego. That's ego. Wow, wow, wow.
It is. It really is because, but also in that's also giving into the dog and pony show and what the audiences were expecting.
Yeah.
And I just refuse to do that. But I think that also comes with just my personality.
Yeah.
And I feel, which is why also I feel like we're friends because you're very much the same way. It's not about my ego. It's not about me looking great. If I want to look great, I'll just get a crown and call it a day, right?
I need a crown. You have a crown.
I always have my crowns.
I need a crown. I think I would look good in a crown. I have
Got
a
a
very
few.
round head, though. I think it would squeeze my temples.
I got it. Wait, hold on. I can't, you
What?
have not, you need to watch my videos more, girl. Hang on.
Look at that one. Oh my God. Where are you getting all these crowns?
I have a gal who makes them. They're custom made. So like this is my Outlander inspired crown.
Are those crystals?
They are.
I would
And,
probably like,
and
I
look
don't
at
even
this
know
one.
what I would do. I would probably start.
This.
That's what, is that all amethysts?
No, it's the grandmother stone. It starts with a lapidite or lap
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And,
beautiful.
and so, yeah, and she makes them so comfortable on my head. I could just wear them all the time.
Yeah, I need, so like, do you wear those out or just when you do this?
Just when I do this. And yeah, or for photo shoots,
I think you
for
should
my
wear them
branding
all the
shoots.
time.
I love them. Okay.
I think you should wear them all the time. They're actually really flattering. And it's kind of in style right now, those big knot things. Like
Yeah,
it's just
you're
a,
right. I'm just gonna start doing my makeup with a crown.
it's
That's how I'm
so
gonna do my
pretty.
makeup from now on.
Yeah, look how pretty that looks.
Oh, it's like I love it. And they have so much energy in them. It's awesome.
See,
So
my
anyway,
problem
that was
is,
a total squirrel moment.
I
Um,
know. My problem is like you're like, oh, I'm thinking about going out west, and I have a whole community. Like, do you know how many psychics I know? Like none. Like except for on the social. Like I am like, I live in the land of like normal people. I don't get to kiki like this with psychics or mediums or anything like hardly ever. Like in any capacity. Like this is the only time I talk about this shit.
do you wonder? Oh, well, I don't like that's not true because I have Camp Chesterfield not too far from here, and I've got a mentor, and I do take classes through Camp Chesterfield now. Because of the pandemic that hit, I was able to be like, oh, look, I'm off work because dance studios are closed.
Yeah.
I was able to like take all these classes and get certified, get a mentor. So now I have a community, but
Yeah.
also like my people on the West Coast. Now all my people in Denver, most of those people are people that Zoom in for Camp Chesterfield. And then I've got my friend Carrie, who's out in Oregon, and Joshua John, and like and my friend Jen, who's in here. So I've got a whole community in Oregon now, but I went out there and did stuff. My intention a couple years ago was, or a year ago was, I want to go on tour. I want to go do live things. I'm going to book a show. I'm going to book my own show. So I started booking like live demonstrations. So when you do that, the mediums come out. So you do start meeting people.
Well, if you do that again, let me know.
Yeah. Again, how cool would that? Oh, by the way, I am going to be doing that again.
Really?
Yes. We can talk about that.
Yeah,
So
totally.
I'm putting together an event here in Indiana that's
That'd
going
be
to
fun.
coincide with another event that I think you might actually really like.
I'm here for it. I
Okay.
started channeling aliens recently, just tried to. I flew out
Oh,
into
that's
outer
exciting.
space and I was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna hang out with the Pleiadians." And they started like talking through me. It was so cool. And then one of my friends, she's actually like a ex-Palladian. This is like a whole nother topic. I
That's
don't
a
know.
whole other thing. Yeah.
But it was so cool. They were explaining why this one friend of mine, she's like so interested in like polyamory and all that stuff. And they were showing me it's because like Palladians and aliens, they connect by way of energy at all times. So you're always connected to the entire like tribe at all times. So being a human is very disconnected.
Right.
And so it was like, why am I not connected to people? Why am I not connected to everybody? It was just like the coolest conversation that I would have never thought of as a human. It was just like, oh, because you're constantly connected to other aliens in alien world, this is very disconnected place here on planet Earth.
It is. Yeah. So that the thing that I'm talking about is there's an event that's going to be Labor Day weekend. It's a trance workshop, a trance mediumship workshop. So it's funny you
Okay.
brought that up because that's what that whole weekend is.
Okay. Yeah,
And look, I'll give you the information on it because
that'd be fun.
what I plan on having my friend Carrie's coming in from Oregon. I've got some mediums here that are like, we want to do like a thing. We
Yeah.
want to do a thing. And it's a 3-hour drive for you
Yeah. You're
for
close.
you to here. I'm close.
Yeah.
So I'm totally down for that. I think that'd be really fun. And yeah, I do have and I'm very selective about my community, I will say, because
I just like live in like like I'm in the suburbs of Chicago. Like I think I have like one stone store like in the vicinity. I
now
don't know.
where I live, no,
Not much.
I'm in central Indiana. There's not a whole
Yeah.
lot. There's like little pockets of it, but like Camp Chesterfield is an hour north, about 45 minutes north of me. And it's very like this big.
I'll have to look it up. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, it's a spiritualist college.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's a whole spiritualist thing.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a really cool place. As far as like opportunities to learn and certified mediums and because I'm not certified in anything outside of QHHT, but I don't have time. I've got my dance studio. I don't have
Yeah.
time to do certifications right now.
Yeah. I
So
danced when I was little. I was a ballerina.
see, again, I feel like we'd be besties if you lived here.
I just didn't live
What's
very
crazy is what's even crazier is like you and I have just even had the same, like we've had the same
Yeah,
surgeries, even down to the same surgeries.
I
We've
know.
had the same thing. It's crazy,
Which I'm
but I
still
love it.
dealing with that damn seroma. I'm so over it. It's like a water balloon underneath below my belly button like area. And I'm just like, so I still have to, like, I still have my like little,
Your little thing.
ugh, I'm just so over wearing. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm heavier than before I had a tummy tuck. Like,
All right. So I was
so
gonna tell you,
annoying.
I'm gonna make you feel so much better.
Please.
This was back in my 30s. Okay, so this is a total side derail,
We're
by the
going
way.
to try to derail for a
We're gonna
minute.
talk a side derail. We're gonna talk about old lady saggy things. So when I had my surgery, I was 38
Yeah.
and I basically had things picked up.
Yeah.
I have a scar that I look like I was cut in half
Oh, wow.
because I had lost a lot of weight and I
Yeah.
had I had 3 children. The girls were sitting on my lap, like
Yep.
it was crazy. And here I am still professionally dancing.
Wow.
So I was 3 bras in, like every time it was bad. So I had the surgery to lift and I went from, and I think I was only like 130 pounds. I'm 5'4", and I had lost all this weight, but I was still a size 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Because of all the skin. So
Yeah.
I had all the excess skin removed, the girls picked up, and I was still in a size 10 for a good 2 months because of the
Okay.
swelling.
Yeah.
But then once the swelling went down, I was a 2.
Get out.
I had no liposuction done. It was literally just the skin
That's good.
removal and like lifting
Yeah.
up. And I went from a 10 to a 2 by the time the swelling went down. Um, yeah.
Yeah, so I went in like a 10. I'm
Mhm.
5'9", so I'm really tall.
You're tall.
I'm
Or
tall. So I'm 5'9", so I'm just like, I mean, I'm going to Denver for those like 9 days. So I told them I don't want to, if they have to put a drain back in, I'm not here for that
no.
while I'm on vacation. So we'll revisit it when I come back. So I just have to deal with it. It is what it is. They're like, "Are you all talking about tummy tucks?"
Yeah,
Yes.
it was a total side derail. Welcome in.
Sidebar to tummy
We
tucks.
went from mediumship to tummy tucks.
You can't be a medium without one.
Right.
You cannot be a medium
Yeah, if you're gonna get
without
a
a tummy tuck and a boob job. That's just
yeah.
you can't do. Oh my god! Ash just said I just had one. I'm on week 3 of healing.
See?
So it must be a sacral chakra thing.
It's gotta be. It's gotta
Yeah.
be. Now, I will say, my first surgery, I just had the girls lifted. I didn't have a reduction, and I made the mistake because they grew back.
Get out.
And so I went from I was actually an E to a C, which was glorious.
Glorious.
They grew back to E status.
Stop it.
So I had a reduction about 7 years ago.
Wow. I will tell
Yeah,
you that
8 years ago.
the greatest thing I've ever done in my entire life was have the boob lift. When you get out of the shower and look in the mirror with a boob lift after having and breastfeeding 4 kids,
You're like,
it's literally the most life-changing,
it is.
self-worth, stand up straight, I can take on the world moment ever. I get
Yeah.
out of that shower and I look in the mirror and that shit is looking up and like
They're saying hello, and you're like, hello back.
I am such a badass. It's unbelievable. I'm like, and I had breast cancer. So I had like this horrible, stupid scar. When they lifted everything, they hid the scar inside. And now I don't even see that bullshit anymore. Ash said, I did the lift too. And right now they are so scary looking.
They are,
right
but
now.
they get better. They will look pretty, and stay on top of your scarring. Stay on top of like making sure you're massaging and breaking up the scar tissue. Once you're healed, scar tissue and do the.
Mine was like good. I have on my TikTok page, it's that scar tape from TikTok. It's like 2 for $16 and I'm telling you this right now, get that scar tape. Mine were red. I used it for 48 hours, the scar tape on my TikTok shop. Gone. No more scars in 48 hours. And the scars are a year old. These are year-old scars.
Okay, I'm checking that out because I still have because I had the second surgery.
Dude,
I do have some scarring. So when I wear like I've got cute bikinis.
Get the scar tape.
Yeah, and yes, Ozempic counts. Whoever asked about Ozempic, I actually lost my weight this last time around, the last couple of years through medication because my body was like, yeah, screw you. And I was teaching 5 days a week. I'm dancing professionally still at 51 years old, still dancing, still training, and I was gaining. So I'm like, I'm done. So I did tirzepatide and lost 45 pounds. And now, but I weigh less than I did when I had the surgery done all those years ago. So now I'm saggy again.
So what were you on? So not Ozempic. What did you do?
It's the semaglutide, the tirzepatide, which is Mounjaro, but it's
okay.
The compound.
Do you still have to take it like every week?
I don't take it every week. I do it for maintenance like every few weeks. If I notice that things are coming back, or if I'm getting super hungry, I'm like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
Because it's irrationally hungry.
Right.
Then I'll do the shot but it's a low dose that I do.
I'm ready to message you on that.
Okay. Yeah.
I had a reduction and they grew back too.
Yeah. Because when you don't take out, I have very dense tissue.
Yeah.
So when they didn't take it, I even asked at the time, I was like, should we get a reduction to take some of it out? And he's like, no, 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 it'll be fine. Well, within 3 years, all that tissue that was still there was very heavy. And so they were back to huge. And when you're tap dancing and
Oh my
teaching
God.
dance, teaching ballet, doing jumps, like they're going, da-dum, da-dum, da-dum,
Yeah,
da-dum.
no,
Not
thank
cute.
you. Yeah,
And
no,
it hurts. I had indentations in my shoulders.
yeah.
But I will say, even with the weight gain and loss that comes with the menopause and all the things before I went on tirzepatide, like I will say, can I show off for a second? Do you mind if I show off? Do you want to see what the results will be?
Yes.
I'm 53 and like I've got
Yeah.
I have abs,
Green
So,
energy. Your belly button looks good too. Mine's still
yeah,
because of swelling. My
it's
belly
not
button is like small and stupid. Yours is cute.
no, mine is like not my original. It's not my
Right.
OG.
Look at me like, let me see your belly button.
Yeah. So I wear crop
Yeah.
tops and I don't even care because I'm like, I'll rock this. It's a
Yeah.
confidence thing.
You look fantastic.
Thanks. But so just so you know, you do have good things to look forward to. You're going to be swollen for a while. But in my tummy, like all of my tummy tuck was done
Right.
when I was 38. I'm now 53. So even with the weight gain and loss, that part stayed. But I had the same thing you talked about where I had the thing was torn. Like I had
Yeah.
so they sewed that back up. So now I can do maybe like 100 crunches
Yeah.
and I look like I'm ripped.
Yeah. It's weird. Like my stomach is so much stronger since they did the repair.
Yes.
Holy crap. Like I can like sit up in bed, no problem. Whereas before it was kind of like, like
Right.
even though I was like a size 8, size 8, 10, my stomach muscles were not as strong as they are now. So yeah, it's definitely, someone says I'm starting to swell and I'm like, no, go back to flat. No. Yeah. It's wear your squeezy thing.
It'll take
At least 3 weeks.
takes months. It takes months for your body to adjust and to go down in that swelling.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm sitting here with my,
I wore that thing for probably 3 months.
yeah, get a good one. Wear one that's comfortable, not too tight. And if you're only 3 weeks out, take your time. I rushed way too much. I will tell you, like someone's like, walked 3 miles at 2 weeks. I should have never read that ever because like, just be lazy,
Right.
walk enough to not get blood clots in your legs, which is like literally walking around your house.
Right.
Like, don't go crazy.
I couldn't stand up fully straight for 2 weeks. It was actually longer than that because the type of surgery I had, like they picked me up all, like I have, again, my scars all the way around. They picked everything up. And I couldn't, I was hunched for weeks. I couldn't, that's how tight they pulled everything.
Yeah. Did you see Megan Elise just had her surgery?
I saw that on the FYP.
Isn't that crazy? Like all of us. She looks great too. She lost a shit ton of weight.
She lost a lot of weight. I mean, I feel like I didn't realize how much 45 pounds looked like on me until I just went back and found I just did a video. I did one of those holy freaking airball videos. Cause it was like, oh. And the picture I chose to use was the one that made me go,
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. My husband's like, I never even think of you as heavy. Like he's like, I've never in my entire life seen you as heavy, overweight, nothing. He's like, but now I see you and then I'll look at old pictures and I'm like, she's like literally a different person.
I look like a whole different person.
But you know what? That goes back to what we were talking about 30 minutes ago, which is your physical body is a representation of where you're at in your healing journey. I'm telling you this right now. Nothing is without nothing. It's all one. Yep. What is in is out. What is out is in. Look at your bedroom. Look at your house. Look at your walls. Look at your car. Look at your body. Look at your friends. Like you are represented in all that you are and all that you do. How fucked up you are is how fucked up you are. And like, look at your body and that's how fucked up you are. That's where you're at. You're either, you know what I mean? Like, are you walking? Are you drinking water? Are you out of control? Like if you're standing at the kitchen counter, slurping down, a bag of pretzels, there might be something going on.
Right. Which goes back to where we going again, what we talked about an hour ago, like getting back to the root cause
Yep.
of, and I will say it took a lot of, before I could be successful on my weight loss journey, on any of that, it did take a lot of deep dive of the why,
Yeah.
you
Meredyth
know,
why?
Meredyth with a why. I love it, love it, love it.
Well, let me ask you this, that you saying that we have all these mediums and all this good stuff.
Mhm.
I feel that everything in my life that made me sensitive, reading the room as a child, right? Being
Yes.
able to read mom, being able to read situation, being able to pick up, which is fascinating because I just had an experience of this. I was going to make a video on this too. Created the person that I am, right? So
Mhm.
trauma, drama, chaos, whatever it is, made me the better of whatever it is that
Yes.
I am as a life coach. Which was funny because my husband was sitting on the couch with me the other day or watching a show and he went like this. My first thought when I heard that was he doesn't like the show we're watching. All he did was breathe. And I'm instantly trying to read and figure out what did that breath mean? That means he doesn't like what's happening right now. He wants me to fix the situation. What is it like? What else can I put on right now? Like one breath equated to an onslaught of reaction, right? Running down the road. And it's like you think you're healed until someone breathes.
Until someone breathes, especially if it's your husband sitting on the couch
No,
breathing.
breathing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, how amazing. How many breaths, how many sighs, how many slamming of doors or stomping of feet have I healed from? But it was just so fascinating to hear that breath and I got to change the
Immediately.
channel and I'm like, wow, that is how sensitive some of us are.
Yes.
And like the fact that we have had tummy tucks, like all of that cortisol, all of that fear, all of that creativity, all of that creation, all of that weight gain in the stomach, you know, and us being sensitive and being able to tap into every emotion. And we, I believe, as psychic mediums channels, we are like, I always look at my childhood and I go, without my screwed up childhood, I would not be able to charge this much for being what I am. I've created a whole business around being
Around my
sensitive.
trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Like
Oh, yeah.
my trauma created a very good whatever the hell I am.
Yeah.
You know, and also like going through all these things, I'm like, oh, yes, my son almost died at birth. And yes, I've been through a divorce. And yes, I have a blended family. And yes, my mom. And yes, my dad. And yes, cancer. And so it makes you really good at what you do if you decide to use it for good, right?
Yes.
But you have to decide to go, I'm going to harness all that bullshit and align myself with people and their problems. And Angel just said it's exhausting, like listening to that breath. And then, but I think that when we recognize it, Angel, and we go, oh, that's an old trigger. That doesn't that's not me anymore. That doesn't relate to my
Right.
life anymore. We can then recognize it and then change it and then make a video about it so that other people realize like
Right.
you don't
Or
have
like
to.
in my case, I'm writing a book about it. And
Yeah.
actually, Rebecca, who just popped in, she just released her book last week. She
Congratulations.
called Healing Rebecca. She was on my show last Thursday, and she is the same thing. Like, and she's also a very talented medium. But you start from the trauma, and the difference is, I know, is that if you're going to be a good, effective medium and harness that, you have to heal, you have to disconnect from it energetically.
Yep.
It can no longer be who you are now. I look back and that's a past version of me, down
Yeah.
to even all that skin's gone, like all of it, like everything is different. And I still honor that person because that person is giving my guides, giving spirit a reference point for me to understand someone sitting in front of me.
Yep. 100%.
but
Because people want
but
to
still
be.
not be triggered.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I think that's the difference is as a medium, we've done that as at the level of mediumship that we do now.
Yeah.
We're not baby mediums anymore. We are full blown ass mediums, right?
Yeah.
But we also recognize that my life 10 years ago is a past life.
Yeah.
So I might get
Totally.
references, but I'm not. If my husband were to sit and sigh on the couch, my brain might go there, but I'm not viscerally reacting
Yeah.
anymore. It's no
Yeah.
longer a full body experience reaction. It's no longer an emotional, it's more thinking mind. And then I'm like, oh,
Cerebral and not physical, right? You can go, oh my gosh, look what just happened there. My brain tried to do something crazy, and I'm not
right,
dealing with it. The other thing that I've started to do also is I just say they're just words. So if my husband's like "Bada, bada, 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 bada," instead of being like triggered about it or like trying to like bend myself into a pretzel in any way, shape, or form,
or form.
um, I just go, oh, they're just words. He's just saying he's hungry. He's not saying, I'm hungry. What's for dinner? What'd you make? What'd you buy? What's in the refrigerator? Get it now. Right.
Right.
That's the old Meredyth. And so now he's like, I'm hungry. And I'm just like, they're just words. He's just emoting. He's just
Correct.
speaking. Like it has nothing to do with me. I'm hungry.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm Lorenda. Nice to meet you.
Patience. Right. So but like, there is that part of you. And I think that, show me a woman who gets her hair cut and I'll show you someone that's about to change the world. Show me someone that gets a tummy tuck and watch out, run for your life.
She's about to set the world on fire.
You're in danger, girl.
Molly, you in danger.
Molly, you're in danger, girl. Meredyth just got a tummy tuck. She let all that old self go. I mean, think about it though. Like, it's true.
It is 100% true. It's getting rid of that which is not serving us anymore. And
Yeah.
and here we are. Here we are. And look at us. We're doing awesome at it too, by the way.
I know. I'm here for all of it.
I am too.
Actually, I can't wait to set it all on fire. Literally, like seriously.
Well, big Leo energy over here. I think my whole life has been like burning everything behind me. I don't know. I try not to.
I was laying in bed this morning and I was like, what if I pretended that none of my past existed? Like, what if I pretend like it's all just a dream and then it can't define me? Like, I could just be like, oh, remember that one thing? That's funny. That was just a dream. And to be honest with you, I really feel like with all the timelines collapsing right now, I feel like say something happens now. I'm like, did I dream that? Was that a past life? Did that really happen? Like, why does it feel like a deja vu? Like, I feel like the timelines are collapsing in such a way right now that you can decide that your entire past was a dream and that it has really nothing to do with you anyways, because why pull it forward? What is the end game of pulling it forward anyways? It only lives in your brain as a benefit or a negative.
Right.
And so like, if I look at it and I'm like, oh, that one time that happened, like, oh, that was just a dream. Why not?
Isn't that crazy? If you do look at, like, again, going back to the 10 years ago, it feels
like a dream.
Like a dream. It feels like, and it's no different than when I'm in hypnosis and exploring a past life. That's how distant, even 5 years ago, think about it. 5 years ago, what were we doing 5 years ago right now? We were just now sticking our heads out the window going, is it safe to go outside and breathe?
I mean, we stayed in the house for a year. We were in the house for over a year with our kids.
Yeah. I started my dance studio 5 years ago, like last week, in my house virtually. I was employing out of work Broadway dancers as my teachers.
That's cool.
That's how I started my dance studio. Right here, this was one of my classrooms. I have a dance studio in my basement that I already had because I'm a tap dancer. I'm a dancer. That was my own space. And then our office upstairs. So we were running 3 cameras, 3 laptops. I had 3 people going because my business partner was always here.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd always have kids. We did have some kids that would want to come in person. I'm like, if that's what you want to do, cool. But we had people But so think about that 5 years ago, how different. To me, that feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
had short hair.
Right.
You know
It's
what's
like,
funny?
did we all just have a collective dream? Like, how weird,
It
even
feels
when you're
so
sitting here
weird.
talking about it, like, my head's getting dizzy just trying to even, like,
Wrap your mind around it.
go crawl back to that,
Yeah.
and I was drinking, and I mean, I don't know about you, but, like, we were drinking at noon, like, "Hey, come over." Like, what else are we gonna
What else are
do?
we gonna do?
Sit in the
Yeah.
backyard, like, I had my buddies, COVID bubble buddies,
Mhm.
and it was just like we'd have sleepovers and family dinners and, more tequila than you can shake a stick at, and I think it's like a week or 2, I'm 2 years sober.
Say you've been sober for a long time, for a while. I've, like, stalked your journey this whole time. Also, remember that time you bought an island or something? I don't know,
Yeah,
where'd
we
you
still have it. Yep, that's by way
it
of
was
the
awesome.
island and redoing the island, that's when I quit drinking. I was just sitting there going,
Yeah.
"Why am I drinking tonight? Like, what? I'm drinking 200 calories of, like, solid carbs to go to bed. Like, this isn't like, I don't know, I was just so detached from my friend group here in
Mhm.
my own town, and then I go to Michigan, and it was just like, it just didn't it stopped making sense, so that when I came back to my house, it felt like out of body, like, why am I gonna drink all of a sudden? And then I kinda had a third person where I'd watch these people drink around me at kids' baseball games. I'm like, "This is super bizarre, people getting shit-faced at, like, an 6th graders
Right?
baseball game, And so it became very staccato and very detached and very bizarre, and then I'd go back to Michigan and work on the house, and I'd feel inspired and excited and fulfilled. Sacral chakra, sacral chakra, sacral chakra. And then, then you have the Sunday scaries or the Monday scaries or whatever the hell it's called. And I was just like, this isn't working for me. And, I quit drinking, and then it was like the pounds just started falling off. I started feeling better. My skin cleared up. Um, it just was life. And, like, my dad was here. He doesn't drink. He used to drink. And I'll talk to him like, there's always a good reason for me to drink where I live. Like, tonight, I'm going to go to this thing. There's a reason to drink tonight. There'll be a reason to drink tomorrow. So I just choose to not drink today, because if I drink today, there's a good reason to drink tomorrow. And I'm not saying get obliterated. I'm not even saying drink more than 2, but there's always a reason for me to drink where I live every single day. I'm either cutting vegetables and I could be drinking, making dinner, or it's, kids
Whatever.
do. There's always a reason to drink. And so it's just better for me to
Just
not,
not.
just
Yeah.
not.
And I think that's part of, just being self-aware,
Yeah.
understanding, like, where you are and how does your body best function? How do you best function as a human? And if that's not it, then you learn to just
Yeah.
step away from it.
And some people, like, can just have, like, a glass of champagne and leave half of the glass sitting there. I'm gonna be the person that goes, "Can I get 2 of those on my table so that in case you don't come back in time, I have the second one?"
Ah,
Like, you know what I mean? I'm the one that's making the 32-ounce Yeti with, like, water, and then, like, it used to be 20% tequila, and then it turned 30%, and then it's 40% tequila
right.
with a little bit of lemonade. And then you get pissed because you go to, like, a regular bar and there's not enough tequila in it because they just made it not COVID strong. These conversations are also a lot easier to have with my 16-year-old and 14-year-old about that booze steals your joy.
The joy, yeah.
Yeah, when you're not, I'm like, if you drink, that football game will never be as much fun not drinking once you've incorporated alcohol. Like, you will never go back to just having joy ever again. You will always be like, let's go get beer. Let's go get whatever. And so it's easier to have that conversation now. But I will tell you, my kids are like, you are more fun when you drink. Swear to
Well, I always think I could be a stand-up comedian, if I've got enough in me, but even now, though, I find at 53 and having with a lot less body weight,
Yes.
I can't.
Yeah, you're lightweight, I'm
And
sure.
I am more of I'm a red wine, old world wine drinker or an old whiskey drinker, like, where I just sip. At no point, I don't like losing control. I don't like getting like,
Yeah, I don't wanna throw
and
up ever, like,
and
ever.
so plus, like, it's not fun. It's like I'm dehydrated the next day. I've got to like if I go overboard. So I'm just like I'm a minimal
You
person
just
at this
Rebecca
anymore.
said she hasn't had a drink in 20 years.
Woo, good for you. I
That's
didn't
awesome.
know that because I think I read it in her book.
That's amazing. Yeah, I just, for me, 1 is good, 4 is better, but I don't wanna throw up. That's like I don't wanna spin, I don't wanna get
I don't
sick.
want to do that. Nope.
So, yeah, I don't know, it just stopped making sense, which, a lot of think women that you talk to that are, like, perimenopause, menopause, it just your liver can't do it anymore. Your liver's like, "Kiss my ass. Like, I'm gonna make you pay for this." Like, it
You
just
go pay.
you pay. And, I always talk about, like, we're all headed to Target. Not anymore because we're boycotting it. At least I am. But we're all headed to the local boutique where it's handmade by seamstresses in the area. And so,
Exactly. That's exactly what we're doing.
right,
Support
so
local.
that's where we're all headed, and we can go different routes. We can stop at the gas station. We can stop at a local park. We can go for a run. We can do sit-ups on the side of the road. So we're all heading in that direction. And if we screw up, like let's say I'm on my way to the local boutique and I cheat on my husband, there's going to be repercussions to that equal to a hangover.
Right.
Because otherwise we would all drink incessantly. If there was no negative end game, if there was no negative for drinking a lot,
No consequences.
there's
Right.
no consequences. So when we're off our path, we will get a proverbial hangover. There's some sort, you're either going to have guilt, you're going to go
Absolutely
through a
true.
divorce, you're going to have to go to marriage counseling. You might get a nail in your tire. You might lose a friendship because you talk shit about them. The universe has a beautiful way of creating a hangover
Yep.
when you get off of the road to the boutique.
Agreed.
And so the hangover is a way to go, you're doing it wrong,
You're
you
right.
asshole.
Exactly. You're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong. And that's even like in business. Like let's say you're going to go do something. If you get like that nauseous kind of ick, like the
Mhm.
ick is a real thing and it's not just for men. You could have the ick for friends. You
Yep.
could have the ick for like a .com address. I one time had a .com and it was I can't even remember. It was about like veganism. And every time I'd go to work on my business, I'd get nauseous. It was the weirdest thing. I had the ick for this business and it was like, go back to the other thing you were doing. Like the ick is a thing.
It's a
It's
thing.
it's the back to 2 hours ago talking
Right.
about soul speaks and talking about like recognizing the ick in life and not honoring the ick. We need to honor that's a t-shirt, Lorenda. Honor the ick.
Writing it down. So, hey, if Paula's in here, I need you to write that down, my friend.
Honor the ick,
Honor
Paula.
the ick.
Oh, and
She makes
Rebecca said that
t-shirts.
she said she started to see dark things when I drank. When she drank, yeah, like
It's
that's
a
the it.
consequence. Yeah.
Like that was your body going, "Hey, what do we need to do here?" And I think right when I
Honor
honor
the
the
ick.
ick. Everyone's saying I'd buy that T-shirt because we only think of the ick with men, and maybe that's because we're talking about it, right? Like he gave me the ick, but how
Mhm.
about we start going? She gave me the ick, and my mom gave me the ick, and
And that gave me the ick. And this
food gave me the ick, and honor the ick because that is your first line of defense so
yep.
that you don't get breast cancer. If we would just honor the ick,
Just honor the ick.
no one would have breast cancer again because we honored the ick at the
Mhm.
whisper. We're
Yep.
honoring the ick at the whisper instead of the damn punch in the face, right?
Right.
So maybe that's great homework. We're getting ready. We got 10 minutes here, but honor the ick at the whisper instead of the punch in the face, right?
Right.
Like honor the ick on the first date instead of waiting till you're married with 4 kids and he's a bumbling alcoholic and you're working 4 jobs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Going, where did I go wrong? Why is my life a mess?
Right. Because you knew on date
On
one
day one.
when you push down all those red flags like a whack-a-mole, and you're like, I don't see that. Oh, he lives in his mom's basement. Okay, he doesn't have a job. He
But
works at
he's so
GameStop.
nice. But he's so
He's so
nice.
cute. I bet you I can fix him. Like
Oh,
so
I
much
could fix him.
potential. I can fix him. I can fix him.
Yeah, me getting ready to walk down the aisle of marriage number one, and I heard, which by the way, I was not a practicing medium. I was not. I
Yeah.
was 19 years old.
Yeah.
Let's just start with that. 19 years old, and I hear 2 years, clear as day, and I'm like, that was really negative of me. Why am I thinking
Yep.
that right now? Not
Right.
acknowledging that that was actually spirit
Right.
because I didn't know.
Yep.
And
Yep.
guess how long that marriage lasted?
2 years.
2 years.
Peace out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
Yeah. We need to honor the whisper. And I talk to my kids about the whisper all the time because I started to recognize that when we shut down that loud bitch in our head, AKA the ego that's trying to keep us safe, that's like, your friends don't even like you. You have a fat ass. Like, you're so stupid. That business is not going to go anywhere.
right.
Right?
Why does that bitch get to hang out? Why
Dude,
can't we like
dude, she's an asshole. And so when we can shut that down by saying, I'm not listening to you. The other day she told me to go buy a pack of cigarettes loudly. I was in the car.
She was trying to get you to embrace your inner
My inner Sylvia. Right. And so I was like, so 2 days in a row, it was like, buy cigarettes. And I'm going on this drive. I don't smoke in front of my kids. So if I did smoke, it's a fucking fiasco. Sorry. It's a fiasco. All right. And so I have to hide. I have to like hope they don't come home.
Right.
I have to jockey all day to get a cigarette, right? It's all day. And I'm getting ready to go on this trip with my daughter for 9 days. Do you understand the trauma? And once I buy a pack, that's it. I'm in. That's it. It's going to be 6 months of smoking. Like there's no way out. Like I'm loving it way too much. I'm an addict. And so I am. And so I was driving and it was the third day. And I go, I don't have to listen to you. Driving in my car, talking to my ego like, shut up. I don't want to smoke. Shut up. And gone. Haven't heard it again since. Right. And this is what we need to do on the regular when it's like, you're fat. You can't do anything. It's like it's trying to keep you small. But the quieter you make that voice by telling it, I'm not listening to you. I'm not listening to you. That's when the whisper gets loud. And I have the best story for the whisper. My husband and I went to CVS or Walgreens. We never go to Walgreens. It's usually the drive-thru, but we went inside for whatever. And at the end of the register was this, you know how they like put shit there? There was like cases of ginger ale.
Okay.
And I'm looking at this ginger ale and I hear, you should buy that. And I'm like, what the hell do I need ginger ale for? Like, we don't even have pop in the house.
It goes
Ohio.
great. No, because it goes great with the Jameson and the lime.
I know, right? Literally, by the way. Have you ever been to Ireland? That's how they serve it.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I said that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't need that. And so I go, I'm like, I'm going to go. So the whisper was so loud of buy that. My husband, by the way, is cashing out. All I had to do was hand it to him. So I'm like, I'm going to go to the car because I don't want to hear about the ginger ale anymore. So I go outside. My husband comes out. We go home. My son goes, my stomach is so sick. I just need a little ginger ale.
Stop it.
Dad. I'm like, Dad. And so now I recognize the whisper. Like, it's like, buy batteries. I don't need, okay. Right. I'm just going to buy the goddamn, like, buy milk. I have a gallon of, get home. It's spoiled. Right. Like, listen to the whisper. Only way the whisper is going to get louder is when you shut down that ego that is scary and negative. And people are always like, but what if it tells me not to get on an airplane? What if it tells me whatever? I usually say, if you are not meant to get on an airplane, you won't be able to get there.
Right.
Because people get in their head. They're like, but I hear don't get on the plane. I hear don't get on the plane. I hear, and I always say, you will get in a car accident first if you're not meant to get on that plane. Just know that you will have a flat tire. You won't be able to find your passport. whatever the thing is, if you are not meant to get on that plane, I promise you, you will not get on that plane. So don't, right. Georgia says that's anxiety. So don't make yourself like, oh my God, the voices are all talking to me at once. Like, trust. But the whisper shows up for milk and batteries and send the text and send the email and go out to lunch and don't stay. Like, the good whisper is always loving and kind and conscientious and pushing you towards like this amazing life. So yeah.
Yeah.
9/11, my cousin heard to get out of the second building, and he did and survived. Holy cow, Rebecca.
I was just getting ready to say even with the 9/11 attacks, like that's been, you hear all these stories later where like I had a flat tire, or like for whatever reason I wasn't going to be at work on time, and or I had some last minute change. And you're right. So when it comes down to it, if you're meant to be on that plane, if it goes down, then you're going to be on the plane.
Yeah. I mean, some people are absolutely, and that sounds horrible. Someone says, will this be posted to your YouTube? Great conversation.
It's on YouTube now. It's on YouTube now, and the recording will stay on. Yeah. I'll go in and add all the hashtags later.
Wow. And Rebecca said he convinced 10 people to follow him out. See, like, that's the thing. Like, people need to understand, and always lamented the ones that stayed. But, the thing of it is that that's what was meant to happen. We don't know why. It's not like, oh, those people were meant to die. It's not like this big, scary thing. It was just part of whatever it is. It's light. It's heavy, but it's light at the same time. Like, we're all meant to die eventually, someday, somehow, some way. Like, that's not mean. It's just
it's truth. It is.
It's the way that it is. So yeah, someone said no, it's a choice. Yeah, that's really, really fascinating. But this has been so fun.
I know. Well, okay. Well, let's talk about really quick before we get done. Talk about all the things you do. You've got your podcast. You've got your awesome book on Amazon.
Yes, I have a book on Amazon.
This is really cute. This is like a great way to be mindful about changing your mindset about the trajectory.
Yep. The programming, the whisper, all the things, right? It's 10 steps to change your life forever. And if you do it, it will undo, and you will start to recognize the programming and the way that, all the things are inside of you. If you want, I have copies here. If anyone wants to reach out to me, you can buy it directly from me and I'll sign it and write something in it. Meredythwillits.com or meredythwillits@gmail.com. I'd be happy to sign and mail one out to you. I also have a podcast, Meredyth with a WHY. And then I also have a new podcast, TikTok Famous, where I'm interviewing TikTok people. Again, Shauna the mom was on recently.
You had Slim Sherry.
The real Slim Sherry. That was a great conversation. We talked for an hour and a half. Let me tell you, we could have gone for 3 hours. She's fabulous.
I love her.
She's amazing. I've got some amazing guests coming up too. So I'm booked. The show is booked through September. With some amazing TikTok guests.
Well, I'm not famous, but if you need an extra person,
no, you're welcome to come on. And I have said, like I say, like, it really doesn't matter. It's like one of those things, like, if you have something to share, like, I am here for it, because, there's a lot of people. I just looked at someone the other day who has like 8 million followers, but I just wasn't into it. I'm like, I don't really know what we're going to talk about so much. So it doesn't matter if you have 20 million followers or 10,000 followers. You're either interesting or not to me, and it's my show, so I get to talk about.
That's the beauty of it. So that's how I decided entrepreneurship is for me, because I can't get fired.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, thank you, Georgia. Yeah, so check out the book. Message me. If you want a copy signed. If not, they're available on Amazon. I think it's like $14. And then Meredyth with a Y podcast everywhere you listen to them. TikTok Famous. Please leave a review. It does help big time to leave written reviews and stars on podcasts. Really, really helpful to subscribe everywhere you listen to. So if you listen to your podcast on Spotify or Apple, doesn't matter. It's all there. And then I'm on all the places, Meredyth Willits or Meredyth with a Y, yada, yada.
Love it. And then also are you still doing bookings for?
Oh yeah, and I still do
Services?
bookings on meredythwillits.com or link in bio, right?
Right.
You can make an appointment there. I do 30 minutes or 60 minutes in person in Chicagoland area, or over the phone is the majority of my reading. So this is so
Very
fun.
cool.
Thanks for
I'm
having
so
me.
glad you came on. I'm so glad you came on. And now that I know that you live close, I've got to
I know.
get up to Chicago or get you here. I think it'd be a blast. I think
So
it'd be a
fun.
really
Thank you
good
guys so much, Rebecca, Georgia, all the people. Thank you for watching. I can't see on like Facebook and all that. I don't see that.
Oh,
But
okay.
I guess I could
Well,
have.
so that all being said, I'm going to go ahead and close out the TikTok. But if you want to hang out, I'm going to end our live stream and
Yep.
then hang out for a minute
Yep.
before we go. All right. Thank you all
Awesome.
on TikTok land. I'm Lorinda Carr, Spirit Signs and Sips. Go like, follow, share, all the things.
Yeah.
You know the drill. All right. Mwah. Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
guys. So fun.